what's up, Shack Housers? How y'all doing? Yeah, happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm going to share a revelation I just learned with you guys. What's it called? I'm hitting myself for learning this just now. If you got Amazon Prime, you can actually watch The Boys a day earlier. Yeah, I watched it at 7 o'clock in the evening last night, thanks to a friend of mine. Yeah, I'm like, why did I not know about this earlier? It'll make my reviews, my recaps, a hell of a lot more easier, and I can get to them a hell of a lot more earlier too. And like before, and I'm going to say this again, this has spoilers. Yeah, spoilers. Again, so look away. I got too many people that complain about me spoiling it for them, so don't look any further if you don't want no spoilers, if you ain't seen the episode yet. Alright, this episode, it was entitled, Here Comes a Candle to Light You to Bed, and it contained a shocking revelation at the end, which I am going to reveal to you. Yeah. The episode starts off with Ashley Barrett on Vought's propaganda news show, Cameron Coleman, trying to spin what happened at the end of the last episode with Starlight, Starlight's live IG feed exposing Vought and Homelander. And they try to link her to Kimiko and ties to child trafficking in order to distance themselves from Starlight. Yeah, the scene later cuts to the legend, his home, Paul Reiser. I hope they show more of him. Paul Reiser, he's funny as hell. Yeah, man. What happened was, he's full of cynical one-liners, and he's talking to Huey about Soldier Boy. Yeah, and he reveals that Soldier Boy never stormed the beach at Normandy at all. Yeah, he got there 2 weeks later. And he admits that he created the Soldier Boy image for Vought and used it to get filthy, stinking rich. And speaking of Soldier Boy, he's downstairs with the Legend's middle-aged maids. Yeah, having doing some kind of sexual activity with him, like having his own mini version of Herogasm. Yeah, the Butcher comes downstairs and talks to Soldier Boy and expresses his frustration in finding another Payback member, a bipolar telepath by the name of Mindstorm. But Soldier Boy, he complains that he needs more reefer. Yeah, he needs like fucking garbage bags worth of weed. It's like, good God, how high do you need to be? Meanwhile, Homelander, he goes to like some heavily guarded military installation that's holding Queen Maeve, right? Yeah, she's locked up and in regular clothes, but she's not restrained or anything like that. Nah. Queen Maeve noticed that Homelander is wearing concealer. Yeah, and indicating that he's got a bruise from his last battle that we saw in last episode against Huey, the Butcher, and the Soldier Boy. Yeah, he's scared of Soldier Boy, as we know, and she can see it. Maeve can see it, and she taunts him about it too. Homelander then waxes about how when him and Maeve were together, how he really wanted to have kids with her, but currently he wants to just harvest her eggs, and that he'd never force himself on her like he did with Becca Butcher, motherfucker. Yeah, he wants to harvest her eggs to create more soups. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Kimiko, they make their way to Eminem, Mother Milk's apartment, and in order to get themselves better after escaping from what's her face, from that Russian lady from the last episode, Little Nina. Yeah, Soldier Boy, the Butcher, and Huey, they find the latest location for Mindstorm's latest stash house. And the Butcher mentions that they got to keep Soldier Boy high on weed. When Huey says, "Why do we got hefty garbage bags of weed for this guy for?" Like, and Butcher says, "We got to keep him high because he's got PTSD. We got to keep him from going mental like he did during Herogasm last episode." Oh yeah, and he mentions that before him and Huey ironically load up on Compound V24. Meanwhile, Black Noir, he goes to we finally catch up with Black Noir, right? He goes to an abandoned pizza joint called Buster Beavers, right? And he begins hallucinating animated versions of the establishment's mascots, right? It's kind of like in the animation, coupled with live action, it's like what we saw in that film Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? Where animated characters and real life characters coexist and interact with each other. Yeah, what's it called? The Black Noir, he ignores them, but it's clear that it's his subconscious nagging him. And in the process, we get insight into Noir's past And we see more of this later in the episode. Meanwhile, en route to finding Mindstorm, Soldier Boy, he accidentally goes past a tripwire, which causes an explosion, right? And that allows Mindstorm to come out to ambush them and trap Butcher in some of his worst memories. Yeah, we see Soldier Boy. He keeps having auditory hallucinations, like, "What you just say?" And Huey and the Butcher were earlier. They were like, "Nothing. We didn't say nothing." Well, looking at him like, "The fuck is wrong with this guy?" In the Butcher's head, what we see him trapped in is how he was close with his younger brother Lenny, and how their father Sam's abuse led to Lenny's eventual suicide. Meanwhile, Eminem and Frenchie, they're back in the apartment looking at old Russian footage of Soldier Boy being experimented on. And yeah, we do, as a callback to the last episode, we see that Frenchie does indeed regret not being at Herogasm. It'll be something that he regrets for the rest of his life. What else happens? Eminem, he complains. He sees that halothane gas that he used on Soldier Boy in the last episode. Now Soldier Boy just grabbed the canister and started inhaling it like it was nothing. But Frenchie, being the drug expert, knows that it wasn't halothane. He knows it was something else. Meanwhile, Kamiko is back with Annie. Annie's nursing her a little bit back to health, and they even share a drink together, some Tennessee whiskey. Annie, she can drink it like it's water, but Kamiko, nah, that's her first time actually having a drink. Yeah. What's it called? She wants Starlight to go back in the Vought and get her some Compound V so that she can get her powers back. Yeah, Soldier Boy, his blast, it burns a Compound V out of people, taking away their powers. And Kamiko, she wants her healing ability back because it's a useful power. Yeah, Starlight is against it at first until Kamiko shows her a texted letter that she wrote out for her to persuade her to do it. Meanwhile, Huey, he finally stands up to Soldier Boy's verbal abuse, calls him out for not being in Normandy, and gets a punch right to the face. Yeah, Soldier Boy's pretty defensive about his shit. Meanwhile, the Deep, he invites his girlfriend / publicist Cassandra into his quarters and tells her he wants to spice up their sex life with aquatic life. She is absolutely not with this and proceeds to dump him. And the Deep, he's so stupid and egotistical, he might as well use this as his hashtag. Formidable intellect, which he is not. Meanwhile, back at Buster Beavers, Irving, which is turns out to be Black Noir's real name, he gets an animated depiction of some of his some of his memories in regards to Payback. Yeah, it turns out he was supposed to be Axel Foley instead of Eddie Murphy in the first Beverly Hills Cop film, but a Soldier Boy fucked that up for him. He called Jerry Bruckheimer and Donnie Simpson and basically persuaded them not to have Black Noir in there. Soldier Boy wants a spotlight for himself, saying, "I'm the only movie star here. No one's a star but me. You want to be me?" And basically beats Black Noir into submission. Yeah, Soldier Boy, he was an abusive motherfucker, verbally and physically. How much of that had to do with drugs, I don't know. But it's clear why the members of Payback thought he was a piece of shit. I mean, he was just as much of an egotistical asshole as the Homelander is. Meanwhile, in the Butcher's head, we see a memory of Billy Butcher, how he lost his shit on a school principal. Yeah, how he beat the shit out of him, and his father was actually proud of him for this. Took him out and bought him a beer. Brought him a beer as a reward. Yeah. Meanwhile, Soldier Boy and Huey, they come upon a priest and a nun whose car breaks down, and Soldier Boy, he kills them once he surmises that they've been mind controlled by Mindstorm. Huey doesn't believe it at first until the nun attacks him and tries to bite him like a vampire. Later, elsewhere, at a campaign speech in Iowa, like an Iowa primary, I guess, for a politician in a Vought's pocket named Bob Singer. Homelander's supposed to be campaigning for him, but he uses that as a platform to bash Starlight and to turn the public against Starlight and Soldier Boy, who he thinks he sees out there, much to his fear and much to his seeing red. He's about to laser up, but then once he realizes it's not Soldier Boy, he wraps up his speech and goes in the back. He finds it's an Iowa barn that they're at, so he goes to the back and finds some. He squeezes some milk out of a cow, because remember, Homelander's very infantile. He loves freshly squeezed milk. And yeah, him wanting to get the hell up out of the speech, it isn't lost on Victoria Newman. Yeah, when Homelander's out of sight though, like I said, when he's out of sight and he goes to get the milk, yeah, Victoria Newman follows him, and his bliss is interrupted by her, who tells him, much to his anger towards her, that he needs to just get his shit together. Yeah, he chokes her with one hand, but she offers a quid pro quo, gives him some information that shocks him, right? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, when he had her in a chokehold, it's like, bitch, you could have popped his fucking head right then and there with your eyes. Why didn't you? Anyway, meanwhile, in a hospital, A-Train, we finally catch up with him. A-Train, he wakes up, and Ashley tells him, basically spins a story about what he did in the last episode. He basically dragged Blue Hawk to his death and passed out from a cardiac arrest. Ashley gives him an entirely different version of the events. Tells him that Soldier Boy went nuclear at Herogasm, which did happen, and that A-Train tried to save Blue Hawk from him, which didn't happen. But the doctors, they save A-Train by giving him a heart transplant. Blue Hawk's heart. And A-Train doesn't know how to feel about the irony in this. Happy that he's now living with a good heart, or pissed that it's the heart of his enemy. Meanwhile, at M&M's, it occurs to Frenchie that the halothane gas that he thought was halothane is actually a Russian nerve gas. Yeah, that's supposed to knock out Soldier Boy. And Frenchie, he realized that it's in Russia. If they want to get more of it, they got to take another trip back to Russia. Meanwhile, Eminem gets an Instagram alert from his daughter's IG page showing her with her stepfather, that white dude Todd, at the Iowa gathering with Homelander in the background. That pisses him off to the point where he just leaves without saying a word. Meanwhile, Kimiko, while he's gone, Kimiko has a dance with Frenchie, right? They put on that musical number that they had, that Judy Garland musical number again. And during the dance, she reveals that she wants her powers back. And she tells him that she doesn't want to risk his life or hers again without her powers. Yeah, meanwhile, Starlight, she infiltrates Vought to steal some more of the compound, for Kimiko, but then learns from some notes left behind about the dangers of Compound V24. Meanwhile, back at Buster Beavers, Black Noir, we still learn information about his past, including from an animated animal version of Stan Edgar. Yeah, it was revealed that Stan persuaded Black Noir to go to Nicaragua for that mission. And then but here's how he persuaded him. He said Soldier Boy's not going to be around much longer since John Vogelbaum, remember the doctor that Homelander crippled? Yeah, the one who was played by John Doman, who played Rawls from The Wire. Yeah, they said Vogelbaum is making a new experiment, a kid who's going to replace Soldier Boy, and this kid can fly. Homelander. Yeah, so what happens next is Eminem, he goes to go see his daughter, right? And he goes to chew out Todd for bringing her around the Homelander. Yeah, and Todd much is brainwashed. He believes everything Homelander says, but Eminem, Mother's Milk, he gets mad when Todd implies that Eminem's a bad father. Actually knocks him unconscious right in front of his ex-wife and his daughter. Shouldn't have did that. Meanwhile, Homelander, back at Vought, Homelander, he spots Starlight on her way out, and what's it called? He threatens her into talking, right? Threatens her into taking back what she said on her IG feed at the end of the last episode, but she's not having that shit. She's not scared of him no more. No, she actually has him recorded on her IG feed the whole time. Like, got him. What happens next is Soldier Boy and Huey, they finally make it to a Mindstorm's home. Huey spots Mindstorm but teleports him out of there before Soldier Boy can kill him. Yeah, Huey, he wants Mindstorm to wake up the Butcher, right? And also on a side note, that's who the Butcher was seeing in a few episodes back when he was loading up on Compound V24. When he looked at Huey and saw some boy, that's who he was seeing, his younger brother. Yeah, what's it called? Right, but what's it called? It's right at his younger brother's suicide where he actually wakes up and he's all apologetic. Yeah, right when he wakes up though, Soldier Boy catches up with him and throws a knife in what's his face, Mindstorm's eye, before he grabs him and interrogates him. Yeah, he learns that the members of Payback, they all know about him. They were all warned about him because of Black Noir, who was acting on orders from Vought. And when he learns why, Soldier Boy goes into a rage and just uses his shield, his Winter Soldier shield, to bash Mindstorm's head in, killing him. Yeah, so they go back to the Legends place, and Soldier Boy is by himself, just like contemplating the revelations that he learned. And the Butcher is still shaken by the hallucinations that he has right when he gets a phone call from Starlight, who reveals to him that Compound V24, if you take too much of it, it'll kill you. She wants him to tell Huey and claims she's going to call back every 5 minutes. And that's Huey's cue to walk in. Yeah, it's Huey's cue to walk in. And the Butcher doesn't tell him about Compound V24. Only that they need to get more so they can take down Homelander. Right? Annie, she resolves that she's going to save Huey whether he wants it or not, and still gives what's it called, the Compound V to Kimiko. And Frenchie, he injects it in her, and she gets her powers back, much to her delight. We see that the paper that Victoria Newman gave to Homelander that shocked him, it was an address for some place in Minnesota, right? And meanwhile, Homelander's trying to spin the latest IG recording that Starlight did. He's trying to spin it with Ashley, but then he gets interrupted when he gets a phone call from from Soldier Boy, right? And Soldier Boy shares what he learns from Mindstorm. He's Homelander's father. Yeah, that's the big revelation, and that's the cliffhanger. What the address was that Homelander got from Victoria Newman, I don't know what that is though. It definitely probably pertains to Soldier Boy, but we'll see. Yeah, this explains why Homelander and Soldier Boy got similar powers, because they're father and son, and why Soldier Boy can put a beating on him. That's your kid. I mean, it may be your test tube baby son, according to what he said, but yeah, that's his child, all right. How this will end, I don't know, but I like seeing Homelander getting his ass beat. He finally, it's finally good to see somebody who can get to him, and it's good to see why Payback doesn't like him, doesn't like Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy was a real asshole. Yeah, Soldier Boy, Homelander, this finally ties them both together. Why they got similar personality traits and powers, like father, like son. Yeah, the whole father-son thing, that was a big theme in this episode too, with the Butcher confronting his own memories with his abusive father. Yeah, and yeah, I'm surprised Huey's father didn't have an appearance in this episode either. Yeah. Yeah, but we'll see what happens in next week's episode as well. This is a hell of a cliffhanger, this episode right now. Yeah, so here comes a candle to light you to bed. That's something that a parent says to their child. And like I said, that was a big theme in this episode. Okay, Shackhousers, that's all I got for this episode. So come back at me next week. Hope y'all have a good week. See you then.
Mansion, apartment.
Shack house. Yes!
Yeah.